You'll have plenty of talking to do since you like studied the whole history of everything.
Right, okay, and we're live with a review of Blake 7, Episode 8, Duel, or as Americans say.
We also say duel.
Oh, very good.
What did you think we
Well,
said?
well, some of them will say something like duel, something like that.
That's what I said. That's what you said.
Okay,
Duel.
right, okay, how many out of 10?
Wow, right off the bat, huh? You're not gonna do like
Right off the bat.
4, I guess.
Ooh, that cuts me.
Sorry.
What does Morgan give it?
He's thinking. Deep thinking.
Out of 10? I don't know. I don't care.
Doesn't care enough to give
I
a score. Sorry.
specifically liked the part where they're attempting to fight each other with pointed sticks. I thought the magic voodoo stuff was unnecessary. The kind of story of the episode just seemed like it didn't matter at all. Because like if you think about it, like nothing happened.
Good point. So Ben, you want to read the summary of the nothing that happened?
Because like they're in the exact same place they were before that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing changed.
That was pretty much the case with that other one too, with the Ewoks and the other weirdos. It's one of the reasons I didn't like that one that much. They didn't really.
Well, well, you do have a mutoid that's now facing a court martial. So something changed for her.
I'm drastically concerned about that. Hopefully that'll be an entire spin-off series called Trial of the Mutoid. We'll have to cover that too.
Well, actually, I would have watched that if it was that character.
I might too. I don't know. I definitely would have watched the spin-off of the blonde chick from the last episode. Like if they
right.
She wasn't really killed at the last second. She was sucked into a vortex, and she exists in another universe. So, because they can cop out with stuff like that in sci-fi things,
right?
Just like soap operas cop out by saying, oh, he didn't really die in a car accident. He rolled to safety right before.
Because physics.
What do you give it out of 10 for women?
Huh? What?
What do you give it out of 10 for hot women?
The only hot woman to me in the episode is the same one that's been in every episode, Jenna.
Right.
Who magically changed her outfit back to a previous one in the middle of the episode.
Yeah.
Somehow. Maybe that was the witches that did it.
Right.
When they made her appear on the
when she
planet.
was teleported down, she had a different outfit on. She had like this sparkly sequin on.
Yeah, I kind of like the sparkly one better. She should have kept that on.
Yeah, it was better.
So Morgan, what did you think of the witch and the mutoid?
In terms of attractiveness?
Yeah. I'll get
I didn't care about the witch, and the mutoid had so much makeup on that. What am I supposed to tell? I guess I'd rather, but I was down with her character in general because it was just what's his name being stupid that made her, because she was when your partner is chick who's pretty much useless, and then that guy's partner is like completely useful mutoid soldier chick. Like, he could have owned them all if he had just not been an idiot. But no, he had to be an idiot.
You reminded me when you said the partner thing. One thing I forgot to say, like, in 2 homicide reviews ago, that Lewis had a good line where he was talking about, that they shared the case or whatever, or he found somebody who was affected their case, and he said, swing your partner do-si-do. I like that. And talked about it as a square dance, meaning like where he catches a case that is related to the case they did, so then they join in. So it's like he came from one you know, square dancing. Anyway.
I would never have known that. I would never
I know
ever
that's
have
what I'm
known
here
that.
for, is to inform with fantastic information.
Oh yeah, is that how informing works?
Yep.
Information.
I could have thought about that for 1,000 years, and I would never have got to that result because I don't know about square dancing.
No, you couldn't have, because you're not going to live for 1,000 years.
Oh, well.
Yeah, burn. You're gonna die, man. No. Yeah, square dancing. We were forced to learn that as kids in PE class, of all things.
Yep.
Right. So I can give you the.
Or
I'll
as they
give
call it in some places, GYM class.
Right. Right. So I'll give you the short story, and then the long story. Got. Travis has tracked the Liberator to an uncharted planet where it lies powerless in orbit, recharging its cells. Blake, Jenna, and Gan discover the remains of an ancient civilization on the planet below. But before they can investigate, the Liberator is attacked by Travis and his pursuit ships. The ensuing battle is halted by the mysterious Cinefar, who transports Blake, Jenna, and Travis and a mutoid to the planet below, where they are forced to fight a duel in the hope that they come to understand the true meaning of death. So, let's concentrate on the first 15 minutes. What did you think of the space battle and all that action?
First of all, I'd say that the one thing bothers me about Travis is that he's called Travis. He really doesn't seem like a Travis. That name just doesn't.
Those plasma boats, though.
Yeah, we both thought it sounded like they were calling them boats, but I figured out when Gan said it that they were saying bolts with an L. But nobody was really hitting that L until he said it. So it was like they're shooting boats at them.
Plasma boats. Get it right.
Sorry, I wasn't descriptive enough. Plasma boats. But then the other chick needed, what'd she call it, blood serum? So I wonder if they were shooting blood serum plasma in boats at them.
Different kind of plasma.
Oh, you see that?
How many
word
different
trickery
kinds of
there?
plasma are there?
So,
Hang out. All the kinds of plasma.
did you notice the Terry Nation theme again of radiation and genetic mutation?
Yeah.
Oh. All right. What did you think with it? Did you find any interesting character moments in it?
No.
Really?
Get
Yep.
wrecked.
Oh,
What about
unless you want to call it an interesting character moment, that Blake in the last episode was fine with just blowing up a bunch of people that he didn't know, but in this one, his second opportunity to kill Travis,
Who's attempting to kill him is
who's
already
been
killed
trying
his
to kill
friends.
him
He's already killed his friends
and already
before.
killed other people. He doesn't kill him. So apparently, he only likes to kill strangers, and he wants to have a continued rivalry with Commander Travis.
But let's put it. Say you were being followed by this evil SJ, and you knew all the plans that they would use. Would you want it to keep being that person that you knew you could keep ahead of, or would you want it to be someone different?
If he's thinking that if he kills him, they're going to send someone better?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because he said that thing. Remember, he said that thing. Because he said that bit. If Travis runs to form, so he definitely can be said that he knows how Travis thinks.
Yeah, but still, he comes off as just not making very wise decisions sometimes.
Yeah, I know, but we know the game though. You can't really kill someone off easily in that position.
Well, I was going to say at the time. I mean, I did say at the time. You know, the witch chicks might have kept him from doing it anyway, but It was stupid of him to not try.
Yeah, and then he said something at the end that sort of alluded to that, where he says, he sort of gave another reason at the end. He alluded to another reason.
Bathroom.
Right. Let's
Can't
see
tip
if
somebody
this.
Saturday because he's Jewish.
That's exactly how that works.
No, it was something about the. He was thinking it was part of the lesson he was being taught, and he said something at the end of that, and then he said, "Besides, I know I can beat him."
Well, then you should have turned around and said to the witches, "Okay, what grade did I get? Where's my report card?"
Okay, here we go. So, right now I can do the share screen works. Right.
The thing about the woods, or the two of them battling in the woods, whatever, it reminded me of the part in The Deadly Assassin in Doctor Who where they do the battle in the Matrix thing. Yeah, this is.
Oh yes.
That's your get past the BBC censors outfit for this week.
Yeah.
Or she just wears a completely see-through shirt.
So, she was married to Julian Glover.
All right.
She's Isla Blair. Right. What else have we got here? Then we got. Pardon?
Well, he says she, but there's two people in the picture. You're talking about the older one or the younger one?
The younger one.
Okay.
Right. This one is Carol Royal, the mutoid chick, and this is what she looks like now. Right, and so, right. So what did you think of the music during the space battle?
I didn't really notice it.
Yeah, me either.
Oh, I liked it. Right.
Too many plasma bugs.
One thing I did not like was they had it where when the witches were talking on the planet you could understand it, but then when they threw it to the spaceship they distorted the audio and it was really hard to understand what they were saying during those parts. So I don't think that was a good production choice.
Oh yeah, you see, I've been watching it with subtitles on.
Well, ooh la la.
Huh.
Fancy.
So just. Yeah, when it said in the book.
They haven't invented those yet here.
No.
I can say one thing, that there is one person that Travis likes.
All right.
And you'll find out in this season who that person is.
Is it Jim Bowie or Jim Bowie or Davy Crockett?
Yeah, you'll find out though.
The name Travis carries with it a certain historical something significance, and there's only one Travis, and it's Colonel Travis from the Alamo. You know.
Yeah, he got
Oh,
deaded.
okay.
Yeah, he's pretty famous around here, but I wouldn't
He's
expect.
famous for getting deaded.
I wouldn't expect most British people know who he is, but yeah, he was the commander of the forces at the Alamo, the Texans.
The reason the Alamo is celebrated is because of how stupidly ridiculous it was that the Mexicans took so long to take it.
Pretty much.
Because there's this tiny fort with just a handful of scrubs there. And some, a few influential
There were some pretty tough scrubs, though.
And a whole bunch of Mexicans were, firing constantly, missing, evidently, getting shot.
So they had to, play the trumpets for 6 minutes before each.
Yeah. It was, supposed to be a surprise attack, but, some guy started chanting Viola Santa Ana. So they just gave...
What does that mean?
Away. There's a whole bunch of stupidity involved on the Mexican part, especially Santana.
Moral of the story is, Mexicans are stupid. No, wait, that's not right. Sorry, I've been listening to too much Trump.
Right. Yeah, but actually, he does it the other way around, though. He actually says their leaders are much smarter than ours.
Right. He says they're stupid, and he says our leaders are even farther below that.
Right. What did you think of the bit where, with Avon, and he does, and you got this bit, he wants to go and have a sleep, and then one of them says, and then Villa says, "How can you go to sleep at a time like this?" And then Avon says, "Blake is sitting up in a tree. Travis is sitting up in another tree. Unless they're planning to throw nuts at one another, I don't see much of a fight developing before it gets light." And then Gan says, "You're never involved, are you, Avon? You ever cared for anyone?" And then Villa says, "Except yourself." And then Avon gives this answer: "I've never understood why it should be necessary to become irrational in order to prove that you care, or indeed, why it should be necessary to prove it at all."
Yeah.
And then Villa says,
That's some NT stuff right there.
"Yeah," and I just thought that was so INTJ.
Well, I would say that
Oh my
I've heard
God.
NTPs express
That's
similar
so
sentiments, so it's not
INTJ.
just INTJ.
Mm.
Special season.
Right, and then we've got,
But yeah, that made me think when they talking about the sleeping that back-to-back episodes with people sleeping. But have we had anybody eating yet? Because I couldn't remember anybody eating.
No, yeah. We're making it out like those mutoids have really short batteries. It's like
that's true.
Do you know, Ben? Has there been any eating?
nobody else needed to eat in that amount of time, but she was already completely useless because of her blood vial not being.
I guess you don't.
They do eat. That's yeah. And in season 2, you see them eat
Okay.
in a
So after
in a Robert Holmes
they finally get hungry.
in a Robert Holmes story.
All
See,
right,
Robert Holmes is a better writer. He realizes people need to eat.
I'll look forward to that. Well, I can't say that that Terry Nation doesn't realize that, because in the second story that he ever wrote for Doctor Who, The Keys of Marinus, he had people eating in that. Veritable feast, in fact. Which was really garbage, but they were mesmerized by the brains in jars, so they thought it was a feast.
Well, there's lots of things they should show, like people having a shave in the morning, people waking up clean shaven, all those sorts of things.
Yeah, it's got like understood showers. You know, it helps to throw in a line every now and then, like, you know, "Oh, I feel better after my shower," or something like that. You know, things like that. You don't have to spend a long time on it, but it just sort of adds that little bit of realism where.
So you don't want to see Jenna shower?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that they wouldn't have to do that in order to have the concept in there so that people weren't like, "Man, these people just change outfits, but they never shower."
Or what about toilets? They never really mentioned that on Star Trek either. They actually had a scene in the toilets in Babylon 5.
I'm so sad I missed that. Yeah, you can't say about that about Homicide. You know, 3 Men and Adina, in the middle of all that tension, you got Cressetti and Lewis using the toilets. So
Yeah, and he had that good joke about the toilet paper where he asked for, "Have you got 5 ones for a 5?"
mm-hmm.
And yeah, but maybe Lewis should have said something about that, because he didn't have any paper either. So
Well,
he wouldn't have given those.
He might have been saying no because he didn't want to give any to Cressetti.
Yeah. Right,
Seinfeld
so
put 2 years later, he couldn't spare a square.
Right then, let's see what the book says. The comedy book.
I knew it. I knew it. This time I've got him.
So we've got, it says here, I don't know if this is true or not. The camera zooms in on a painting of a planet. Imagine a low-budget version of Doctor Who's Rose, then onto a gloomy cave full of village people statues, before settling on a princess in a see-through dress who's feeling the cold. Then it says here, random failed insult. He was calling me a machine, and since he undoubtedly defines himself as a human being, I shall choose to accept that as a compliment more than anything else. Then you got little bits of information. Mutoids are augmented humans who require regular top-ups of blood to survive. And then it says something here, I don't know if you noticed it. Villa appears to be wearing a KKK armband. So much hate. Despite being given a machete, Blake favours a pointy stick as a weapon of choice. Travis goes all out.
It
Yeah.
just looked like a wooden
A machete?
No, that had the sheath on it. You remember when Travis tried to kill the dude?
Yeah, I
when the chick
remember
was
that,
messing-
but it
she-
looked like it was wooden.
He threw the sheath off. You didn't see it there?
Yeah, I did see that.
And it was like a blade.
I said it looked
It
wooden.
was all shiny.
It looked shiny.
It looked like it was an actual machete, but it looked shiny.
No, I didn't see the shine.
Yeah.
Okay. Travis goes all out and builds an elaborate multi-pointy stick device, and it doesn't even work. But it would have worked if she had enough energy to.
Well, it only didn't work because he made a terrible decision to not let the Chica absorb Jenna's freaking blood.
Yeah, exactly. Right, you know, he should have still been alive if she should have taken a couple of pints out.
And that would have been. Then the show would have changed to Travis's 2.
3?
3 maybe.
Or just Travis?
See, that's what I really want to see. Is a show that goes for like 6 or 7 episodes with one title, then the main character's killed, and they just change the name after that.
Yeah.
Follow somebody else. It's like, oh, he won, so now he's the main character. That would be awesome.
That's not. I read one manga that wasn't. It didn't change the name, but
I realize that would be confusing, but it wouldn't be completely unprecedented because there was a show called Valerie's Family, or just called Valerie. I can't remember. I don't think it went through 2 name changes. I think it went from Valerie to Valerie's Family, and then the Hogan Family before it was done. So there have been shows that changed their names before in the middle of the show. But.
I was reading a manga where they killed off the main character in the very beginning. It was very amusing. At first, I thought it was pretty generic until they killed off the main hero guy that was supposed to save them all, and I was like, oh, I think I like this one. So this other guy has to impersonate the hero in order to keep everybody calm and attempt to be the hero. And then I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And I was getting bored with it, and then they killed him too. It was fantastic.
All I'll say is a lot of things happen in Blake 7.
Yeah.
Other than that, no comments.
A lot of things do. You're right.
Stuff happens.
And there is change. There wasn't change in this episode, but there is change. Right.
I know. Everything would always stay the same.
Yeah, they need to kill more people. I'm bored of their non-killing people ways. I
Right.
found
Killed
it.
a bunch of people in the last one.
Yeah, I know, and that was
Didn't
cool.
show it, but
That was cool. At that time, I was highly amused by the fact they just randomly blew up like all of those people.
I wasn't. I was mad.
But I was.
Should have killed off that. Killed Squirrely instead of the blonde chick. Sarah.
I was not amused
She should have replaced.
that
Squirrely
the
in the
Chica, telepath Chica that they found with a gun, acting like she was some rebel who could, handle herself, and I haven't seen her kill anybody yet. It's boring. Can you just kill somebody already?
Yeah, because she She has a demeanor that she's kind of like Leela, but she's not nearly as.
Yeah, but she doesn't actually kill anybody.
Yeah. Leela would have killed a bunch of people by now.
Leela wrecked people.
She was on that crew. Be a whole different story.
Yeah, they wouldn't. Yeah, he would always be.
For
asking
one
for
thing,
her to go down
Travis
to
would
the
be
planet.
dead because if she was the one down on the planet, she would have killed him.
That's true. Yeah, I agree with that.
Blake would have been like, "All right, let's fight," and then Leela would just throw him the machete.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Travis.
There's the seal on it. Alright. Right, there we go, from the book. There is no 16mm on the area of the planet where Cinefar and that hag live. Travis's mutoid friend is called Kiera, a name which translates as useless cow in Polish. The efficiency of Travis's fiendish plan to capture Blake is hampered by the mutoid's inability to cut a rope with a bloody great machete. Well, she was impaired. She didn't have her energy. Mutoids are easily dispatched with a blow to their novelty headgear. Carol Royal, playing the mutoid Kiera, was well known to TV audiences at the time as Laura Collins in The Cedar Tree. Never seen that. So the production team made her completely unrecognizable by encasing her head in an awesome-sized eraser. Travis is a space commander. Not just any old commander, remember, but a space commander. And then this bit might echo the sentiments. This bit might echo the sentiments you have. Patsy Smart is an anagram of ratty spasm and pastry mast. There are some for Cinefar too. Afro, Sin, and Insofar. Can you tell that we're bored by this episode yet? Blake clearly states that there are 6 members of the Liberator crew. 6, not 7, 6. Blake's 6. We reckon the BBC must have bought a new video effects machine around this time.
I showed off.
Yeah.
It was still trash.
When did that happen? There was video effects? When did that
Oh, all over the place.
Really? When?
When?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
You know, like when she uses the magic stuff?
When
And what the freaking
Oh.
magic? And when they're like transparent over the stuff, and when you don't remember anything, you just forgot the entire episode.
No, there was a woman. There was like a statue, and then an old crazy lady, and then they made people appear, and then there was a fight in the Matrix, and the people on the ship sat around falling asleep, and they went up. They climbed some trees. There was a bear with a tummy ache somewhere making noise that never came on the screen. So I guess that wasn't in the budget.
Bear tummy ache noise? That's in the budget. Actual bear? No, that's not.
Yeah.
That is out of the budget by far. Remember they were talking about that one Doctor Who episode? What was it? That like second Doctor with the Ice Warriors
Mm-hmm.
with the bear?
Oh yeah.
And it's like the bear had a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was pretty
A
funny.
contract actor. Oh yeah, okay. Then since you put that slide up, Morgan had a good point that made me think of a good point. Because he was like, he said something. Why didn't they like remove that limiter thing, the impact? And I was like, well, that's the problem. They don't have a doctor in the crew. There's no bones.
What would happen? Yes, but you see, we already know that the limiter is not to stop him from killing people.
What is it then?
Well, that's hinted at. That is something that's hinted at in the series.
Well,
But he couldn't shoot that guy.
Are you saying he was lying about that?
Well, you've seen him commit acts of violence. Yeah.
He didn't actually kill
But
anybody.
he didn't kill anybody, yeah.
He specifically
Well,
said he couldn't kill, but he didn't say he couldn't rough somebody up.
Yeah, he couldn't pull that trigger on that gun on that guy, so he got beat up. Remember that?
I do.
No, well, oh yes, but was that in Time Squad?
I don't know, the one where they brought the stupid cryogenically freezing people,
Yeah, but you see,
and they beat the crap
but
out of him. Stupidly pulled a gun
oh,
when he pulled the trigger. Should have just punched him in the face.
well, you see, the theory in the book, in the Liberation book, is that he cannot sexually aroused, and that he laid a trap for Jenna to be killed, so that he could get a vicarious thrill of her being killed. Because they only put a limiter on sex criminals, and so there's a real subtext about that.
I missed some of that.
Yeah, well, that's why suddenly when he mentions those women, oh, my limiters, there's little subtle things to it, but it depends how much is
I don't even
hinted
remember
at.
that line about my limiter has a malfunction. I remember him mentioning it, but I didn't remember he said that.
Yeah, yep.
But
But yeah,
the
he
audio
does.
cut out, so I don't know what you said about the somebody setting a trap. I don't know who you said was setting a trap.
Yeah, in the episode Time Squad, it has all this subtext in about Gan, where he is sexually aroused by Jenna, and
I don't remember any of that.
anyhow, there's little things that come up in future about his limiter, and
Okay.
So anyway,
I just mentioned that to make the point about
right?
you know, they need a doctor on the crew and they don't have one.
Yeah. Because if it was just for violence, they would have put limiters in a lot of people's heads.
Well, they implied in the first episode that they had like mental control over everybody. But it was like mostly with drugs or whatever, that they would just water supply or whatever, that they were constantly, putting stuff in there to control their minds. Or then they could, and just go in for a routine doctor's visit and they could program them to think things happened that didn't really happen and stuff like that.
Well, Gan's limiter comes up again in the season. Right.
All right, I'll look forward to that.
Right.
An exciting episode called Gan's Limiter comes up. That'll be its own spin-off.
Right, let's get that. Oh yeah, that's all. Some good line. Any favourite lines in it of the episode? Oh yeah, sorry, I've got a funny bit from the book.
Just the
important fact. No, it's not the one I've already said. No.
Oh, it is the one you already said. The one
no, it's a different one.
So you're telling me? You're telling me
what
my
favorite
line was?
and you're talking about yours.
No.
I
changed my mind.
He asked me what my favorite line was, or any favorite line.
And then he jumped to a one that he had in his head that he had not mentioned earlier.
Well,
yes, is this the...
Well, why are you going to ask
is
me
this
questions and then I'll listen to the answer?
I saw the book and then I changed my mind halfway through,
well,
yes.
I'll put this over here where if Morgan wants to talk, he can.
Okay. Anyway, so I'll just say what the book says
that
that you'll appreciate. Blake's a smug fool. He tells the priestess, he tells the priestess that as long as Travis is alive, he knows who will be chasing him. There's more than one person in the Federation, idiot. There's 8. Right, that's it. Right. So, that's that bits from the comedy book. Right. Okay, so what were your favourite parts, Morgan?
Me?
Yes, you.
Again, the part where they were fighting with pointy sticks. Because that was amusing. The rest of it was, I didn't care about the witches at all. Special effects were lame. The spaceship battle was boring until the part where he was actually going to ram the ship, and then they stopped it right before it actually became interesting, and then brought it to the witches, who were then boring. But then they put them in the woods, and that was kind of amusing for a little while. Oh no, it just gives more opportunities to show flaws in plot writing and character development, because they do a bunch of stupid stuff and all run around in circles and be idiots, and then nothing changed, and then next episode.
What were the stupid things that they did?
Again, when he had the opportunity to actually kill Travis, he didn't. Travis had the opportunity to kill him, but he keeps being stupid and not doing it. Because he, didn't let her be useful. He instead starved her, and then so she was useless and couldn't touch the face with the machete.
Yeah.
Or he could have just done it himself, but no. He had to be, I don't know, a certain distance away. He made it harder on himself for no reason.
They had that bit at the beginning where it showed, when they did it, where Travis would have killed him, and then they sort of restarted it again.
Yeah.
So they at least did that bit.
Right.
Where
and
they
again,
started
it beats him up a few times first. Just punches him a few times. And he runs right back into getting punched because they're both just so great.
Okay, those are good objections, but how would you have solved it though? If you were writing it, how would you have solved that?
This episode was dumb. I don't know what concept led to the creation of this episode.
But do you think
disliked the episode? It just didn't really have much of a use, and I didn't understand why it was even there. I liked the episode because it was kind of amusing that they were fighting each other with pointed sticks again, and I'm all down with machetes and I don't know, mutoids, but the witches made no sense, and they had the kind of boring war's evil, you're all gonna kill yourselves, it happened to us, it's gonna happen to you thing, and it didn't matter to me at all. And then we got nothing else happening. Nothing actually changed, except again, the mutoid gets a court martial. That's the one thing that's actually come out of this episode. Nothing else did. So I don't know what the concept was there. Was the concept really just we want to show how fantastic Blake is by not having to be taught a lesson by these people because he didn't kill Travis even though he murdered a bunch of other people? I don't know what the point of this episode was. So I wouldn't have written it to begin with. I might have written something where they go and try to stab each other with pointed sticks, sure, but that's not how it would happen. I'd have it where both their ships crash because they rammed into each other, and then they crash land, and then they have to fight each other in the wilderness, and there's no witches involved because the witches didn't make any sense, and then they're fighting each other with pointed sticks, and then one of them actually kills the other one. I don't care who. Blake can die. The show can be over. I don't care. The mutoid's actually useful somehow, as opposed to just there's all this complicated stuff about the fact that she's a mutoid, and she's done exactly nothing useful. Fantastic.
What I liked about it was you found was the relationship between Travis and the mutoid.
Yeah.
Where he is
better past.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, he knew about her past. he was there was that interaction in the tree
Yep.
where you could tell that he was sort of trying to gain rapport with her.
Yes, you could say that. It looked like he was just doing it in his spare time, though. He didn't really care.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. And there's a sort of parallel situation where mutoids exist to be in the service,
Mhm.
and that's effectively what Travis has stated. I mean, Travis's only life is as a Federation officer.
Right.
And it was set up in the when you first see Travis, don't they actually talk? She actually asks, "Why do you have a mutoid crew?"
Mhm.
And he says, "I will trust a mutoid crew." And then he says, "I can identify with them because because he's been partly rebuilt himself." And of course, if they had better special effects, if they were doing it these days, he would have more robotics on him.
Right.
And the
Ask.
and the mutoids would look like cyborgs, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, the mutoids are like pretty much all the way, though. You know, because their brains are obviously altered and all their physical functions are altered to go on a really short span battery.
Yeah. So what
In one
what,
still
what I
has
would
the normal human functions as well as a hand that he attempted to get a shot off once with, and his face mask thing, which as far as I know does nothing useful.
there's a with Jenna where Blake says, and like Jenna criticizes Blake for being naive. Like there's that bit when Blake said, when you're that powerful, why bother to lie?
Right.
And then Jenna says, that's one way to become a hunted man, trust the powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like those people who think Trump's got no reason to lie. He's rich and powerful. He's got his own money. He has nothing to lose.
Right. I understand, but at the same time, he was just like it really didn't matter. You didn't need to trust them. That was basically what he was saying. I mean, they're powerful enough that they can control them any way they want. So if they are lying, they could be, but they have no reason to. Because they could just kill them or let them kill themselves or do whatever. So if they really needed to manipulate them, they could just use their voodoo magic. They didn't need to lie to them.
Oh yeah, yeah. So he was right in that situation.
Right, and that's
So
his comment was intended for, and she was like extrapolating that.
yeah, with that much power, why bother to lie? And then you see, it's because to a certain bit, and it does take that as a when he actually says, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going a little bit back to her. She's a little bit more cynical. And I do agree that they didn't really make the character, the way she was in her first episode, where she was a little bit more ballsy.
Yeah, every now and then they throw in, oh, hey, she's kind of cynical.
So what I like about this episode is it's the relationship between Travis and this mutoid.
Right. Their scenes were the best parts. But then it also just showed that Travis continues to be a blockhead when he could actually, succeed. I think that maybe he just really doesn't actually want to win. He just wants to continue hunting him forever.
I'm starting to think that he's an SJ.
Well, I think
Travis.
he is. He's probably an ESTJ. That's what he seems like. And, that's the kind of stereotype of what he's pulling there. And seems to like the challenge of attempting to figure out how to make a plan and then execute it on killing the guy, but then he doesn't actually like killing the guy because he keeps doing things to actively detriment his plans to kill the guy.
I've just thought of something. Travis was returned to active duty in order to chase Blake.
Right.
If he actually kills Blake, he's out the service.
Right.
So here's the dialogue. Here we go. For those watching it on their mobile phones in 3GP quality, I'll read it out. Tell me something. Do you remember who you were? I don't understand the question, Commander. Yes, you do. In your previous life before you were modified. Do you know who you were? Of course not, she says. Aren't you curious about it? No. I find that hard to believe. Memory is an encumbrance. All trace of it is removed, and with it, all trace of identity. That's a sort of duplication there. And it doesn't concern you. Why should it? That identity doesn't exist, even in the central computers. Yes, it does. I know who you were. Name was Kiera. And then she corrects him to Kiera. And then this bit, you were very beautiful, very much admired. Should I go on? And that's, so he's trying to gain rapport with her. And he did also say in his first episode that he felt some connection to the mutoids because of his own cybernetic enhancement.
Then he proceeds to be cold hurt the rest of the episode because it didn't matter at all.
Yeah, yeah, but it's like you know, you can have that thing in the STJs, though, can't you? Where they have that little itty bitty FI inferior, and
well, sometimes they actually, act upon or tell someone about, express their feelings. But then when the opportunity comes back to continue doing their extroverted thinking, plan, execute, destroy, then they'll do that instead because they prefer it.
yeah, I mean, if this scene was in a novel, you'd be able to have much more depth into it and like go back into.
I mean, yeah,
Travis's character. Yeah.
If she's a recurring character, then I could see why this even mattered in the slightest.
Well, I would have put her on the crew. I would have put her on the Liberator. And then it would have been like 7 of 9.
Who are you killing off?
What do you mean killing off?
Well, it's Blake 7. Who are you killing off?
Yeah, I know, but they include one of them is the robot, is the ship, is the 7.
Yeah. Well, you got what? Well, you got a problem with the? You got a problem with the computer?
Yeah, but early on he said there was 6 of them.
Almost a computer. He's almost a computer.
That's true. Avon's almost a computer. Yeah. But yeah, I would have liked her to be on the show. That would have been cool.
I mean, so far she hasn't done anything remarkable because he keeps telling her to do stupid stuff and then allowing her to fail. Or actually actively making her.
And then the way he played that, remember he gets angry, doesn't he? At this point, it doesn't interest you at all. So he gets a bit like here where he's very like, and this bit here, the way he acted it, you were very beautiful, very much admired.
Some human action, and then he doesn't, and then he gets a little aggravated at that.
Yeah,
he is not trying to connect, and then he's like, "Yeah, fine, screw you too."
Yeah. Yeah, he knew enough episode. He definitely was trying to connect with her. And then I just thought this bit was so INTJ. How can you sleep with all this? And I'll try and do how he talks. With all what happening, Blake is sitting up in a tree, Travis is sitting up in another tree. Unless they're planning to throw nuts at one another, I don't see much of a fight developing before it gets light. You're never involved, are you, Avon? You ever cared for anyone except yourself? I have never understood why it should be necessary to become irrational in order to prove that you care. Or indeed, why it should be necessary to prove it at all. And I just think that is so INTJ. Where they can be like those closet emo nerds and closet romantics.
Jeff says that's what he was going to say his favorite line was.
Good. Excellent.
Excellent. I think he got
Yeah, I suppose to pick that up.
didn't care enough about what he thought was his favorite line.
Oh, that was just a confusion because what happened was I asked him that and then I saw in the book and I remembered that I had to say something. So now I'll ask Jeff can come in and talk all he likes.
Well, all he likes is applying to the situation already. He seems to not like.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, the set, the witches were on the first one that there was. I think it was reused from Brain Morbius. That was the only other thing I was going to say.
You get that, Ben?
Something was reused from the set of the Brain of Morbius.
Yeah.
Oh, like where the planet was.
The first set,
Yeah.
on the planet.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, it does look similar to that, yes. But that was... This was made in about... It would have been made in about 1977. I don't know when Brain of Morbius was made. I think Sarah was in that one.
Yeah, so it was like the second season of the Fourth Doctor, so probably it would have been before that. It would have been like 75 or 76.
Yeah. Also, they used to like tear down sets a lot because what would happen is they would use the studios for completely different things, for completely different programs, and they hated Doctor Who studio. And
Oh, wow. That's brutal.
and what's brutal?
He's losing 8-0. Baseball.
Oh dear.
And it's the top of the ninth. He's pitching, so he has like one chance to get the runs back. To get 9 runs.
Right. So this, have you ever seen the? Do you think that looks like the Star Trek symbol, Morgan?
It looks vaguely similar to what I remember the Star Trek thingy-majigger looking like.
So it's almost like they're deliberately saying this is the evil version of Star Trek, where they like, so they say the Federation all the while have a very similar logo.
Yeah, I thought in the first episode they implied the Federation was like more than just Earth, but then what's his face called it the Earth Federation.
Well, probably based on Earth, because it's from humans.
It's like,
What?
But yeah.
I thought it was like,
I'll tell you. I'll have a look what it says in the book, in the official
like
book.
She's slapping her there, but she's not. She didn't do anything so useful. She did like.
that would have been more interesting.
Yeah, it would have. She did this like weird, like
I mean,
X.
they should have fought. See, you know, they should have.
Well,
been
they
like,
did for a
well,
second.
Yeah, but I mean, real.
Yeah, it was pretty useless.
That would have been much better. I want to see that fight.
Yeah, I wanted to see her actually do something useful as opposed to be like the side character. Like I understood that Jenna was because she's. I didn't think she was useful to begin with, but she's this
Should just have
mutoid.
that be the whole episode, 45 minutes of those two fighting, like slapping each other and scratching and.
No,
One chick's
it's
trying to
Travis
get
is the problem.
The other one's bleeding.
Travis stopped her.
And, like trying to collect the blood while she's fighting her. That would have been great.
You write that episode.
Okay, well, the
Send it into BBC.
540th on my list of things to do.
I'm tired. My list to do is sleep do.
Yeah, I'm probably want to teach him this stuff.
Right, I've got a bit more on the Federation. I have to be careful what to. Yeah, the abbreviated name. Yeah, the Terran Federation, a fascist dictatorship set up in the aftermath of the galaxy-wide atomic wars, is controlled thousands of planets divided into the inner and outer worlds.
I was like, nah, war violence.
Oh, okay.
Right. And the things change. Right. There's big changes in the structure of the Federation. Power struggles. Right, and we'll just quickly go through these slides. We're getting towards the end. Because I played this on the laptop, and you get the scan lines. You don't get the scan lines on the Blu-ray player. Right. But I watched it with that. There wouldn't be the scan lines. But yeah, there's an example of the video effects. But Jess said he didn't see any. I mean, right. Right, CSO hair. Right. What edge? Then the stuff about the court martial. Then made that on. Your failure cost me. We didn't get a. Now, this actor did admit to being overweight on commentary. Oh yes. Do you know Roger Moore Leach? You know him, don't you, Jeff?
You didn't say which actor.
It's designer Roger Moore Leach.
Oh, before that.
Oh.
This actor, but I didn't know who this actor was.
Oh, sorry. Douglas Camfield directed it.
So you're not going to tell me?
So who do you want to know who played who? Who do you want to know?
You said this actor said something about being overweight.
Oh yes, Stephen Greif, who played Travis.
Oh, okay. Doesn't look overweight to me.
Yeah, he said.
But he's not exactly wearing.
Well, that's what. Well, I think it was. I personally don't. I think it's more his spine, the curvature of his spine, than him being overweight. Right. So let's go through this. Okay, I mentioned that. Yeah, I mentioned that as well. After Gann thinks the two women were not there, he mentions his limiter malfunctioning. I put here, you might agree with this, an episode more for N types than S types. And you could say that the witches appeal to the NFs and the mutoid appeal to the NTs. I like the contrast from high tech to low tech. The Termination Street of Radioactive Planet. There was a good line from Cinefar. There will be no machines to make the act unreal. You must touch the life you take. Right, and then Travis's friend is a beautiful mutoid who shows no interest in him. There is one person who does like. Oh yes, Blake on Travis. If he runs true to form, he'll set a trap and then draw us into it. So yeah, so he knows how Travis thinks. Oh yes, the bit that made me laugh out loud was when Gan says he seems to be working to a plan, and then Villa said, "I wish we were." Right. Right, and I'll go through this bit at the end and then go. Do you believe what they told us about themselves? I mean, with that much power, why bother to lie? That's one way to become a hunted man. Trust the powerful. True. What's your excuse? And then Jenna says, "Oh, I wasn't clever enough. None of us were. The Federation has beaten us all at least once." At least, as Blake said. Right. So, anything to add, folks?
No.
I'll ask this. Do you think N's would have liked? Do you think N's like it more than S's?
Well, I know one that does.
Yeah, but I think you've seen enough things now, though, like say in Doctor Who stories, where you say, like with Kinder, where you can say, "Oh, the N's really like that, but the S's don't."
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily divided that way because I never taken a poll on that or anything.
But generally, the more surreal something is, or the more abstract it is.
Yeah, I mean, if there are people that like bizarre stuff, but that's not necessarily divided by A and F.
Right.
I mean, it could be. That could factor into it. I don't know how much it does.
Because to me, all the stuff with the witches, all the stuff about teaching them a lesson, the price of war, all the stuff about, to me that was very NF.
Yeah, especially because they didn't really learn any lessons.
Yeah, that's right. And also, this kind of plot has been done a heck of a lot. I think even the original Star Trek did it. And you mentioned them doing it in Doctor Who, in the Deadly Assassin. Did you like that episode when they were in the Matrix?
I liked that story, but I didn't like that part very much.
Ah, why not?
It just was kind of boring. Like the stuff that took place with, the actual stuff on Gallifrey with all the, the Time Lords and the Council and the assassination, all that stuff was cool. It was sort of like a mystery of, who was behind it, and then they had the Master and all that stuff was well done. But then all this stuff where it's like, oh, let's have them fight in the woods for a while. That was just weird. Like it didn't seem to. It was just it didn't fit the rest of the story to me. So I still overall like the story, but that's the part that to me you could take that out and it would have been a much better story.
Right. Okay. Right then. So we'll do the wind up now. So it's goodbye from me.
I wish I could say so the way you do.
Well, you might like the next episode more. It's called Project Avalon.
Okay. See you next time.
See you. Bye bye, folks.